Good morning, Year 4. We're going to finish our week of maths by looking at line graphs again. So our destination is to solve comparison, sum and difference problems using line graphs, and our anchor task is to create questions for a line graph to show our understanding. Here you have a line graph then for your anchor task, and I want you to write at least 3 questions that you could ask about the data in this graph. So it might be something as simple as, what was the temperature in our classroom at 4 p.m? Or you could make something a little bit more complex. I would like you to create 3 questions now, please. So pause the video and off you go. Okay. So the next task we are looking at is we're going to try practicing plotting data onto a line graph, so representing data using a line graph. So I have started for you, and our line graph is about the average daily maximum temperature in London. So we have our months, January all the way through to December, and we have the temperature, the daily maximum temperature for each month. So I've plotted my first point, so here is January, and I have plotted it at 4, so 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then I'm going to go to February, and I have got 5. And I have joined up my points with my line. So you now need to continue this graph, plotting each of these points and joining them up with a line as you go. Right, a different type of question then now. In which year is it most likely that a disease struck this tree? So this line graph is showing the height of an apple tree and how long it has taken to grow. So you need to think about the gradient, so the direction that the line is moving in this graph. So which sort of line would show us that the tree had grown quicker? And which line would show us that the tree's growth had slowed down. So thinking about whether that line is closer to horizontal or closer to vertical, which one would show that the tree is moving quicker and which one would show it is growing slower. Now, if a disease has struck the tree, it's probably going to grow slower, isn't it? Because it's not a very healthy tree. So you need to identify on that line graph when the tree grew slower. So have a go and we'll discuss it afterwards. So the answer would be between 2 and 3 years, and that's because the gradient or the direction of the line in the line graph is closer to horizontal. So it's showing that the growth of the tree has slowed down. Okay. Another style of question then. The temperature at 90 seconds was half what it was at 120 seconds. So to find this out, if it's right or wrong, you first need to pick out the data from the line graph. So what was the temperature at 90 seconds? What was the temperature at 120 seconds? And is the answer half of the result from 120 seconds? Okay, have a go now. So for 90 seconds our answer was 30 degrees, and for 120 seconds the answer was 60 degrees. Now using my numbers, my number bonds, I know that 30 is half of 60 because 3 is half of 6. So yes, it is true. Well done if you've got that correct. Finally then, we have a graph here that shows 2 pieces of data on one line graph. So it's showing Brenda and Irvin are each growing a plant. They're growing a corn plant, and this is showing how quickly their plants grew. So Brenda's is the line in pink and Irvin's is the line in blue. Our questions then. Question 1. When were the children's plants the same height? So this will be the point at which the lines cross each other because they're going to be the same height. They're going to be exactly the same number at the same time. So find that in your line graph and pop down the answer. Question 2. When did Brenda's plant grow quicker and how do you know? So this is going back to the question that we've just done, looking at the gradient of the line, so whether it's more horizontal or more vertical or more diagonal. When do you think Brenda's plant grew the quickest? In what time? So how steep is that curve? How steep is that line on the line graph for Brenda? When's it at its steepest? And question 3, when was Irvin's plant taller than Brenda's? So if it's taller, the line is going to be higher up on the line graph because that's showing that Irvin's plant is bigger at that time. Pause the video and have a think about what your answers might be. Okay. So, for question 1, when were the children's plants the same height? Well, that is at 4 weeks because they are each at the same point at exactly 4 weeks. Okay. Question 2, when did Brenda's plant grow quicker? So Brenda's plant started to grow quicker at this point because the line started to go a bit more towards diagonal. It was pointing further up into the sky. So, from 2 weeks onwards. And question 3, when was Irvin's plant taller than Brenda's? Well, right at the beginning, Irvin's plant was larger for a long time, up until 4 weeks. So, from 0 to 4 weeks, Irvin's plant was taller than Brenda's. Well done if you were able to compare data using a graph. That's a very tricky concept. So, for silver, you are completing questions 1 and 2. For gold, moving on to 3 and 4. And for platinum, you have 3 reasoning and problem solving questions to have a look at.